Hang on a minute. Oh God. Oh, it's nothing. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. Where are my plates? Sorry, no. Baking tray. Would make a good bit of defense, wouldn't it? But I hope everyone's doing well. I tell you, with this thing and some of the ingredients I've been buying as of late, whew, if you let me cook, I can make some killer food, let me tell you. Who said typhoid bang? Shut up, you. No, I do make some good food, though, in all seriousness. I even shared some of my chocolate Biscoff tiffin with some of the people in my workplace. So I hope they enjoy that. But of course, you didn't come here to find out if I'm sweetening the deal with my employee. I must admit, I've been a little hesitant to make videos, as I have been a little bit more emotionally drained than usual. But where do I begin with this one? Well, I say let's begin with the fact that the person who attacked Keir the Traitor Starmer's residential home, one of his cars, and I think there was a third other place that I can't remember off the top of my head, has actually been identified as a Ukrainian, who I'm not going to pronounce the last name, as one, I've pretty much forgotten it, and two, I'm probably going to butcher it, but his name's Roman. So this guy came into the UK as effectively an asylum seeker, or he served Ukraine and what have you, and he just so happens to have a picture of himself standing in front of the English flag while doing press-ups. Speaking of the English flag, just on a side note, it's taken until now, or it's only now that I've recognised that the English flag seems to be getting censored by YouTube. Why is it when people try to put in that white and red flag that is everyone's prided flag, why is it all of a sudden replaced with a black one and a load of boxes with X's through them? Do you see that with a Palestinian flag? Oh, of course you don't. Do you see that with the Ukrainian flag? No, you don't. Hell, I don't think you even see that with the Russian flag. Yet, if you try to put the English flag up, they replace it with a black one. And it really does beg the question, doesn't it? Why the hell is that being censored? What's next? The Union Jack gets censored? But I am going off on a bit of a tangent here. This Roman, this Ukrainian named Roman, why is it he's still in our country after he's now been charged with those 3 fire attacks on Keir the Traitor Starmer's property? Let me be clear on this. I don't condone any kind of attack like that, and I don't condone violence, even if it is on scum like Keir the Traitor Starmer. That is the sort of shit that the lefties should be basically towing the line in regards of, but of course they're not. And just remember, it's the Ukrainians who ended up effectively showing sympathy to that group of people who we had to fight in 2 world blanks. Begins with N and ends in I, and unfortunately for some people it's not Nikki. I think you know which group I mean. I've said this before and I'll say it here again. As far as any foreign national is concerned, if you come to our country and you commit a crime, you should be out of here. Just like that. But I suspect because they're a mascot group, much like the people with the names beginning with M and ends in M, I suspect there'll be some kind of leniency given to this man. But here's something to remember. We, who are constantly labelled as far right, the lefties would probably be expecting us to say, oh, good on you, mate, you got that traitorous bastard. But no, we're not like that. Because unlike the leftoid NPCs, we don't want to see any violence or threats or attacks like this, no matter who they are. Whether or not Keir the Traitor Starmer is a sectarianist bastard and a traitor to this country, and let me tell you, he indubitably is, whether he is or not, should not mean, oh, he deserves to get attacked. No. It goes under the same, I guess, the same arc as the way that Trump ended up having leftoids who basically said, oh, you fucking missed? How could you fucking miss it? Or better luck next time, or that kind of shit. And quite frankly, it's reprehensible and disgusting to think that this is the Be Kind group who are saying these kinds of things about Donald Trump. They would have expected us to go like that with Roman, but of course we're not, because unlike the leftoids, we actually have principles and a moral compass. Well, that's of course if I can get mine to stop playing Twister. Anyway, we at least have a moral compass and the integrity to say nobody deserves this, no matter stroke number 1, no matter how treacherous they are. The same obviously applies to people like Sadiq Khan, who have absolutely terrorised London and have made our country, or at least London anyway, a third world shithole. At the end of the day, we are always going to be far better than them. Unlike the lefties who need to say, oh, we should be being kind to one another. We don't need to say that. You know why? Because it's common sense. I don't need to say to people, be kind to one another or be respectful to one another. Because those are basic values that should be ingrained into us by now. Whether you're 14 or going on 40, I would expect those values to at least be somewhere in those basically core programming of ours. But let's move on to the main subject of this video, which is all to do with Brexit. So I think 17.4 million people are probably not going to be very happy about this, because Keir the traitor Starmer has effectively surrendered Brexit. While it wasn't the absolute biggest talking point as far as the referendum was concerned, one of the topics that was brought up was our fishing waters, our territorial fishing waters, which now Keir the traitor Starmer has sold 12 years of unchallenged access to our waters to the unelected bureaucrats in Brussels. The same wankers who had struggled for at least 20 fucking years back to back to sign off their accounts. But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. Yes, Keir the traitor Starmer has sold our fishing waters over to the EU in the hopes of getting some kind of deal. Well, this deal has about as much substance as a wet fart in the wind. And I don't think the EU's even going to repay him for the soiled trousers he has, quite frankly. He has effectively tried to get us back into the EU. In fact, he is getting us back into the EU, which I'm going to tell you right now, that's not going to sit well with the indigenous English people. It is not going to sit well with those people who voted for Brexit. It is not going to sit well for those who wanted to reclaim this country from illegal immigration that is uncontrolled, from unelected bureaucrats in Brussels who try to make themselves as anti-democratic as possible. Hello! And are effectively destroying Europe as we speak. But Keir the traitor Starmer wants to sign us back up to them. Do not be surprised at this point if there is an arlution at the end of this. The way I look at it is this is the biggest betrayal of the people of Britain or England, or however you want to put it. It is the biggest betrayal of those people in history. 17.4 million people's votes completely invalidated at the sign of a paper. At the sign of a paper by a complete dictator who is an absolute traitor and selling out our country to people who hate her. At this point, I think Keir the traitor Starmer has set it in stone now. There is going to be a civil blank, no question about it. There are going to be so many people who rise up on the back of this. There's already the national strike that's going to be taking place in every city centre around the UK. The national strike, which is happening this Sunday, I believe. Or is it No, it is Sunday, sorry. So I was trying to get my maths sorted out. But there is going to be a protest in every fucking city. Every city centre. I am hoping there's going to be a whole bunch around my city centre. I think I could just about manage to get up to the city centre. I don't know about you. I think I could just about get there. Might have a little trouble. No. I mean, I should have no trouble getting up there, quite frankly, no matter what bus I take. And if I can't get a bus, I'll fucking walk up there. But I feel like this is the last chance we've got to end this peacefully. Because the way I see it is, if he doesn't back down now, if he does not realise that he is going to destroy this country and bring about a civil blank that will be indubitably the worst in British history, if he thinks that this is going to end well, he's got another thing coming. Even if this is what Keir the traitor Starmer wants, and he wants a civil blank, it will blow up in his face. He will end up losing his career, because he will effectively be known as the only Prime Minister who started a civil blank between the Brexit deal, the Brexit betrayal deal, between the fact that he's locked up people who are protesting for their words, while he allowed killers and rapists to go out free to commit crime again, to be sent back to jail. I mean, at this point, Keir the traitor Starmer has about as much innocence as a succubus in a brothel. I don't think Keir the traitor Starmer understands how high the stakes are here. If he keeps this up, and if he decides he is not going to respect the wishes of the English people and the 17.4 million people who voted for Brexit, he's done. Simple as that. He will never reach 4 years in office, quite frankly. He'll be lucky if he makes it 12. Oh, sorry, no, 12 isn't really right, because that would technically mean next month or the month after. But he certainly won't make it in, to his second year. He won't make 24 months, let me fucking tell you. I suspect he'll end up overthrown by that time, or kicked out of office. Because the Labour MPs will start to realise that if they don't do something about this treacherous sectarianist bastard, that, I mean, already as is, it's extremely unlikely that Labour will ever be voted ever again for all the treachery, the deceit, the two-tier policing, the two-tier justice, the releasing of criminals who don't deserve to be released, the protection of a child-murdering scumbag that is Axel Radaku Banana. Between all of that, there is no shot anybody with even the slightest shred of common sense or even dignity are ever going to vote Labour back in power ever again. And I suspect if they do get voted in power again, I think there will be some genuine far right who decide enough's enough, and then it'll all kick off. And I'm not talking about half-time at football. Let's face it, this Brexit deal only benefits the WEF and the EU shillmasters. It does not benefit Britain, it does not benefit the people, it does not benefit anybody with the slightest bit of common sense. The only people who will get anything out of this are the people who don't deserve the power. As I've said before, I don't condone violence, I don't condone a VR, but the cold bitter truth is, we are on the verge of it now. We are on the verge of a VR or a civil blank. It's gonna happen. It is going to fucking happen. Whether we want it or not. There's nothing we can do to stop it now. And I think what needs to happen is people like Richard Inman and Paul Thorpe need to wake up and realise that. We've tried to go about this peacefully. We have tried to do this by the book. But they writ the fucking book, quite frankly. And everything that we've done has gone in one ear and out the other. And in Keir the traitor Starmer's case, nothing in between. But these people need to start waking up. I would love nothing more than for us to be able to remove Keir the traitor Starmer out of power peacefully. But dictators, or maybe I was right first time, they never go quietly. Never. There's only one way you can get rid of a dictator like that, and that is you forcefully remove him. I would prefer it if the Labour MPs got rid of him, as obviously this would prevent the need for V. But I think at this point, there are probably people right now, whether underground or speaking it here and now, who are effectively saying, we need to prepare for the worst case scenario. Keir has made his allegiance quite clear that Keir the traitor Starmer has only two groups of people at heart: the Islamic community and the WEF. It's time we woke up. It's time Paul Thorpe woke up. It's time Richard Inman woke up. It's time Maya Toosey woke up. It's time these people woke up and realised that we're not going to be able to vote out of this one. Of course we'd all love to be able to vote out of it. I'm not denying that. And if it were down to me, I would prefer it if we have it done peacefully, because obviously it's the best case scenario. But do you honestly think that's going to happen now with this betrayal? With how long Tommy Robertson has been locked up in prison, in solitary confinement? We are approaching month 7 as far as Tommy's continual solitary confinement sentence, when the legal limit is 14 days as far as EU's regulations are concerned, or 3 days according to the UK. So at the end of the day, you can't have Tommy Robinson in there for longer than 14 days. And here they are, they've effectively locked him up 15 times that. Axel Radaku Banana is being given more preferential treatment and has more privileges than someone who basically put out a video exposing the government. You could be a scumbag who commits the worst kind of atrocity against kids, no less, at a dance class. And while they sound like they're going to give him 55 years or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to a fucking lawyer and then all of a sudden we see his sentence reduced. Or perish the thought he might even be released. And that shit scares me. I mean, if Axel ended up getting released, there is no question of a doubt in my mind that that would also be the powder keg that goes off, that causes a civil blank. The same obviously applies if Tommy Robinson were to end up having his free trial of life ended as well. Like, it would spark off a civil blank like you would not believe. And I think Keir the Traitor Starmer needs to take a page out of the first Rambo film. Don't push it. Don't push it or I'll give you a blank you won't believe. The question is he going to be stupid enough to actually trigger this? Because as I said, if he does cause a civil blank with his actions, his career's over. Just like that. There is no way the Labour Party will be able to have, in good faith, a Prime Minister who starts a blank with his own people to run as Prime Minister. They would be forced into a vote of no confidence. In fact, they should have done a vote of no confidence 10 fucking months ago. I wouldn't trust the man to run on the spot, let alone run the fucking country. Whichever way you slice it, we are approaching a very, very, very dark time for the United Kingdom. The pledge that was started by Richard Inman and Jeff Taylor and what have you, do you know what that is? Pointless. If it was any other Prime Minister, maybe I could say, well, maybe there's a little bit of credibility to it. But this is Keir the Traitor Starmer we're talking about. A man who has been the absolute worst Prime Minister this country has ever had. A man who is evil personified. Like, if evil walked the earth, it would take the form of Keir the Traitor Starmer. And it has. Makes grannies freeze in their homes. Ignores the pleas of the English people to protect the borders and to protect their people from foreign invaders. Sells out the country to unelected bureaucrats who haven't signed their accounts off for at least 20 fucking years. Locks up people who dare to oppose the government narrative or try to expose the lies of Keir the Traitor Starmer, and continually do everything they can to defy the wishes of those English people, whether it's with Brexit or anything else. I don't think that is a man who represents this country. I mean, all this time, Keir the Traitor Starmer could have shown that he actually has a little bit of humility. Right now, he's shown about as much humility as Mr. Juncker on an LSD trip. I keep saying this, and I'll say it here again. In the next 11 months is going to make or break this country. It really depends upon, are we going to take this lying down as we have been the last 20, 30 fucking years? Or do we decide enough's enough? Do we decide we're taking this country back? The ball's in our court, the way I slice it. Keir the Traitor Starmer's already done his serve, and the only thing he's serving is the WEF. And let me be clear on this. I still admire Tommy Robinson. I still support Tommy Robinson. But I think the cold bitter truth is, I don't think we're going to get a peaceful result out of this. Because if we were to get a peaceful result, it would have happened by now. We've been trying this the last 6 or 7 fucking years. And what have we achieved with it? almost nothing. As I've said before, the only real things that we achieved are directly involved with Tommy Robinson. And the only thing we really achieved was Belmarsh actually conceding and basically giving more rights to Tommy Robinson. And then they decided to say, oh, you think you've won? We're going to say no to that, and we're going to move Tommy to Woodhill so that he loses all those privileges. So whether or not we win or lose, the establishment wins. It's like trying to beat the dealer at blackjack when he has alternating jacks and aces, and you're stuck with constant low cards. It's impossible. Think of the lawfare that they committed with Tommy Robinson. Whether or not he won or lost, whether the establishment won or lost, the establishment still won because of the way they rigged the game. The way I look at it is the establishment has been constantly rigging the game against us. And if we keep playing the same game against the same traitors and dictators that are in the houses of treasury, sorry, Parliament, or again, maybe I was right first time, if we keep playing the same game, we're going to keep getting the same result. The definition of insanity. The way I look at it, we've either got to change the rules, or maybe it's time we started breaking them.